Hey there X, I found this story in 7chan. Felt it was cool and wanted to share it with you boys. I'm not the original author. As a consequence of the recent events, I can't trust myself anymore and I really need an outside opinion. Maybe someone has encountered a similar phenomenon. I will attach some pictures I took during those events. Hope there's a rational explanation. However, if you're looking for a reveal of the truth at the end of the story or an explanation from me, you are not going to find it here. I just simply can't think of one. 3 years ago, in 2016, my girlfriend and I moved into a house in New Jersey. It wasn't in a good shape when we bought it, but with a lot of cleaning and redecorating it became quite cozy for two of us. 3 years passed and now I feel like I know this house rather well, at least I thought so a week ago. Last Monday there was a storm, a big portion of the house flooded. We have never varnished the old wooden floors, so the day after the flood I discovered that in some rooms they were completely ruined. Hiring a big crew to fix everything would be too expensive, so I decided to fix it myself. With some help from Google I researched what I need to buy and on the next day I started repairing the damage. It was pretty easy actually. By the evening I had already finished the bedroom and moved to my office. I was taking away the old wooden boards when suddenly I stumbled on an area which was a bit different. 4 of the boards closer to a corner had a lot more nails in them and some of their edges were broken off. It was definitely harder to remove those, but after applying a bit more force, they also popped off and revealed what was underneath them. Covered with a piece of cloth, a painting lied under the floor. I was very surprised and excited by the discovery, mostly because of an idea of selling it. I threw a flashlight on it and started examining it, looking for some sort of a signature. It was a portrait of a man and a girl, both looking at each other with their hands inches away from touching. Their wide-opened mouths and eyes were a bit unsettling, but mostly the painting just looked freaky and even funny. That was before I took a closer look at their palms. They both had stigmatas, a puncture wound in the center of a hand. A chill ran down my spine, not really sure if it was the darkness of the room, the complete silence or just an imaginary mind, but I immediately put the painting back under the floor and left the room. I fast walked to the bedroom and immediately switched on the lights. My girlfriend was too sleepy to wait for me to finish working in the bedroom. She just fell asleep on the couch. I took off my clothes and fell asleep on the bed, trying not to think about the weird painting. That night I had uncanny dreams about these faces I saw on the painting and the punctured hands. I didn't have nightmares for a long time, but that night I was rolling around in a cold sweat. I woke up to my girlfriend screaming my name. Her face looked terrified. I couldn't make out the words she was saying. Everything was still very foggy. She suddenly grabbed my wrist and roused it. There was a stigmata on my hand. I froze in a silent horror. I wanted to scream, but couldn't. I threw my hand back. It was bleeding all over the bed sheets. Only when I saw the wound I felt the pain. My palm was hand from the inside as if my blood was set on fire. I ran to the bathroom and put my hand under a stream of cold water, while my girlfriend brought bandages. I threw up while she was putting them on. I still remember her terrified eyes and shaking hands. We didn't talk for the rest of the night. She was sure that I did it to myself. Can't blame her, that's what I would assume too. The morning after I returned to my office and checked if the painting was still there. I was kind of hoping that it would just disappear and I won't have to see it ever again. But no, it was still there under the floor. I pulled it out and brought to a window to examine closer under the sunlight. No signatures, no initials, no markings, as if the painter didn't intend for it to be seen by anyone but himself. I also found a cassette taped to the back of the painting. It looked quite old and dusty, like ones produced in early 70s. There was only one word written on it with a fat black marker: suffer. The strange feeling that I had last night came back. It wasn't fear, I wasn't afraid. It's the feeling that you get when your phone runs out of battery while you are in the middle of nowhere at night so far away from home. I felt helpless in front of this cassette, helpless in front of the painting and helpless in front of its author. And only then I felt afraid I didn't show the painting to my girlfriend. Among two of us, she has always been the believer and I was the skeptic. She still was very quiet from last night. This would be too much for her. Later that day I went to Best Buy and got a cassette player. As soon as I came back, I made sure my girlfriend could not hear the recording and inserted the cassette into the player. At first, it was just white noise, but then I heard a voice. Even though the recording was really distorted, it was clear that it's a man talking to someone named Laura. Are they the same man and woman from the painting? Is he talking to his wife? His daughter? He had long pauses in his speech, as if he was also doing something else. He talked about hell and suffering. I felt chills running down my back again. It got harder to breathe. Now I realized that it must have been a panic attack. I stopped the player at the end of the recording. That's when I noticed that I was bleeding again. My bandages were all soaked in blood and the pain returned. 2 hours have passed since I listened to the recording. The cassette and player are still on the table in front of me while I am writing this. I am going to attach a picture of the wound on my hand and the painting as the proof. I will also attach the recording that was on the tape that I found. As I said in the beginning, I can't think of a rational explanation for all this. It's getting dark already and I am really fucking scared for the upcoming night. Please, if anyone has something similar happen to them, tell me what to do. Original post from 7chan.